Hey, what's up guys, Exalted here, and in today's video what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be spectating a player from the Middle East. Now hopefully we'll learn some new things. I want to see if they're good, I want to see if they're not very good, because it is a new server that just came out about a week or two ago. So I'm wondering if there's going to be any new players that were kind of brought into the game because of this, but I'm also wondering if maybe they're just super good. Now, the Middle Eastern server is actually the furthest server away from me, as I have 256 ping. But yeah, if you guys enjoy that video, hit that sub button. I'm right about to hit 200k. With that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so we are in our first game. I'm probably going to go ahead and land Salty. That way we hopefully find probably a sweatier player or just someone that's better, because they will be hot dropping a populated place. But for those of you guys who are new to this series, pretty much what I do is I land in random servers and I spectate random players by immediately dying, and I pretty much go over what they do right and what I think that they do wrong when getting into their fights. Whether they die for some reason, I talk about why I think they died, what they could have done better, and stuff like that. Now I'm going to go ahead here and probably die, but I actually placed well enough to participate in the Trio Final Cup. So if you guys would like me to analyze my gameplay or something from the finals, which I will be doing today, let me know in the comments. But also I could analyze one of the top players from the finals, so just let me know. I would love to do that. I personally would probably learn a lot, but right now I'm just trying to find this player so I can die. Alright, so this player is trying to kill me, I think. Just kill me. There we go. Alright, we got Sup Synergy. Synergy's got full shield, pretty good loadout so far. He's got a pump and an AR for that switch, which is really good. You always need to make sure you have a spray weapon to switch with your pump. Usually an AK is not super good. You can't really spray with that weapon to follow up the pump shots. But yeah, something that I find interesting is there's 245 seconds left and there's only 33 players in this game. I think the lobby started with a total of 52 players, so I wouldn't be surprised if not much actually happened. There are several mechs on the map. There are 3 on the map right now, and I think several spawned when I was landing. But let's go ahead and skip to where Synergy gets into his first fight after he is done looted, and we'll see what he does right and wrong. Alright, so Synergy is actually leaving Salty right now. There was nobody there. He got some really good loot. He got a pump, he got SMG and AR, he got some shields just in case he takes damage. But something that I found really interesting was the first circle hasn't even closed yet. It's currently closing. Hasn't closed yet, but there's less than 20 people. That's mainly just because there were 50 people at the start of the game, meaning it's practically twice as easy to get a win. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to point out, and I'll go ahead and skip to where he actually gets into a fight. Alright, so Synergy just saw his first player slash mech. Synergy is simply just going to use his one launch pad and just get out of there. Now, Synergy at one point did have 4 impulse grenades. He could have kept those instead of maybe the big pot. Because with those impulse grenades, you can just impulse away from mechs. He's sitting here waiting for a balloon. He could have just used his SMG and his 300 ammo to shoot it down. You can shoot it down really quickly, and if you're using your suppressed SMG, no one will really hear it. So he was drawing a lot of attention to himself just by leaving that balloon there. And here we have a fight. Alright, so Synergy doesn't look too good at building. He was looking down building ramps. So now we're spectating TRYHARD. He's actually getting shot by a mech. What he could do is he could just kind of back up off the mountain a little bit. The mech shots won't be able to shoot through the mountain instead of wasting all his mats. He has 4 kills, so he's doing pretty well. But something that that Synergy could have done to maybe win that fight is probably just go to creative, practice your building skills a little bit, and get a little bit of high ground on TRYHARD. TRYHARD honestly got a pretty easy kill. Synergy was not the best player, but purely that is just mechanically. Synergy did have the game sense. He knew how to avoid the mechs. He was smart. He was good at hiding, but also he just needed to learn how to build a little bit, so that's why you've got creative. So Raw Hat actually has an awesome loadout. This is probably one of my favorite loadouts to run. He's got that combat. Now, because you have a combat shotgun, you don't really need a pump switch weapon. So like, just like a pump, you'd need an SMG or a spam shooting AR. You don't really need that with the combat. The combat shoots so fast that you can just continue to shoot it as opposed to switching weapons. So he's not using a switch, and that saves space for him to bring an AR that's not really spammy and that hits for a ton of damage. The infantry AR is such a good AR, but if you have a pump, you need a spray weapon. So he's got the infantry AR, and he's also using that minigun as kind of his third weapon. Usually in that situation, if it were scrims, I'd be saving that minigun slot for like rotations such as impulse nades. So if Raw Hat doesn't want to die to this mech, he needs to get behind the mountain where the mech cannot shoot through his builds. Yeah, he was probably going to die right there. And now we got another build fight. This player looks like he's a little bit better. He's boxing up, playing safe when he does not have the high ground. He's also healing up a little bit. He's going to go for high ground right here. He's going to easily take it. Great timing on that. Good edits. This player looks actually pretty good. He's going to go ahead and try to pop that slurp one more time. And now his opponent is going to go for a high ground. His opponent doesn't seem like a creative builder. He doesn't seem like he's done too many build battles, so it doesn't look like he's going to be going for high ground. So next, Philip is going to be forced to kind of find him inside the house. Now, Philip needs to be careful because when people run inside the house, they'll usually hide behind a door and take right-hand peek. But that's not what this player is doing. GG's to Philip. Philip did a lot of really good things during that fight. For example, when the opponent had put a ramp in front of him, like in the box in front of him, he actually put a ramp up next to the pyramid so that the player inside the box can edit out, if that makes any sense. So that's always really good because you cannot lose high ground when doing that. Also, he took high ground and waited for the player to box up, and when the player boxed up, he was very safe when trying to take his opponent's walls. But now, next Philip has to watch out because there's a player right next to him, and there is also a mech. He makes a really good decision, and he's going to go ahead and actually launch pad. It's really hard for mechs to hit people in launch pads, and it looks like he's going to try to land in it and self-destruct. That's exactly what Philip did. GG's to Philip. He built so he didn't take damage, and now it's a 1v1v1. The opponent is going for high ground. Philip could easily just run up the side of the mountain so he didn't have to waste mats, but it looks like what he's going to do is kind of wait and third party this player. If I were Philip, I would have just kind of stayed where I was, waited for the fight to actually start, because now he is in the middle of both players, so he is most likely going to get targeted if a fight were to happen. So Philip just got a pretty easy kill. He was pretty close to being first when rotating into zone. Now this is going to be a hard zone rotation for Philip, as he has to go straight into a player that is right above him, and he has to get into zone. This player is spam spraying him with the Scar, I believe. So what his best option is to kind of jump up a little higher and just tunnel box into zone. Alright, so the player's going to launch pad. Philip's going to edit out and hopefully take some shots off on him. Perfect. Did about 100 damage. I think he did actually exactly 100 damage. So GG's to Philip. I just realized I've been saying Philip instead of Fleepup this entire time, so don't roast me in the comments, please. So Fleepup is now going to get in a build fight with the final player who has a pump. So Fleepup needs to get inside the player's box where he can get multiple shots up. So Fleepup has the high ground. needs to watch out. The player that he's actually going against is really smart when it comes to using the impulse nades. Fantastic edit. That is a great edit, to edit the ramp the opposite direction, because the player will usually run straight into you and you get a really good angle. GG's to Fleepup, the final player. Persian Cobra was definitely a decent player. Fleepup was a little bit better though. What the other player could have actually done is it looked like he choked his builds a little bit, so he should have just kind of dropped down, boxed up, and kind of just figured out where he was, calmed down a little bit, because towards the end it looks like he kind of got in a panic and choked his builds. But thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. GG's to Fleepup. Pretty much what I take away from this, there are some good players, there are some not so good players, just like every single server, but there are not very many players, so it was probably a lot easier for Fleepup to win that game because the game only started with 50 people. But yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what video you would like me to analyze next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.